Stage is yours.
Morning. أول شيء حابب أتشكر مصرف لبنان وعلى راسه سعادة الحاكم رياض سلامي.
Thank you for bearing with all the...
It's quite incredible what they've done here, kickstarting an ecosystem like this. I'm going to give you a quick brief on Daher Capital. We're a family office based here in Lebanon. Those that know us could say it all started with a potato. My father, Michel, a serial entrepreneur himself, started a food production company in the early 90s that grew very fast, then went on to make investments in the US, using cash flow generated from that food company. As for me, I have been leading on our tech investments for the past 5 years, and I manage a large chunk of the food business as well. We've been doing venture capital and private equity investments for more than 10 years now, and one of our main focuses has been Los Angeles in the United States. We didn't have an office in the US until late last year, so over those past 10 years, it was done mostly through a lot of traveling and late-night calls. Quite frankly, it still is. Some of our most notable successes have been FXCM, a financial technology company which IPO'd on the New York Stock Exchange with a market capitalization of $1.6 billion. TrueCar, which is based in Los Angeles, IPO'd on the NASDAQ with a market capitalization of also $1.6 billion. In Feb last year, in 2014, we sold a company called Maker Studios to Disney for a staggering sum. With the earnout, that deal will end up being worth $950 million. And Burstly, which we sold to Apple. Last month, we sold a financial technology portfolio company called Portware to FactSet for $265 million. Also, we think we are still holding some of our best investments. With an active portfolio of more than 50 companies, ranging from very early stage to pre-IPO. I can also tell you about our most notable failures later today, as well as our anti-portfolio, which means companies we looked at but did not invest in, but still went on to become really, really big. An example of this is a company called SpaceX 3 years ago. I asked the guy who brought us the deal if he was crazy. We weren't going to invest in rockets. Today, the company is worth more than $12 billion, and I'm still kicking myself. I hope this gives you a good overview on who we are. If not, I suggest you Google us. What I want to talk about today, in the 7 minutes that I still have left, is twofold. What I think we need in a startup community, number one, and number two is how we, as Daher Capital, plan to be involved. What BDL is trying to do here is start an ecosystem. We know and understand how difficult this can be. We made our first investment in an up-and-coming ecosystem in the US in 2002 in Los Angeles, when the US was still reeling from the tech bubble. Also in Los Angeles, there was barely an ecosystem. 1 or 2 tech-focused funds and very few companies. Companies went through hell and back to hire talented engineers at the time. I believe many, if not all, the companies here know what that's like. To give you an idea, in 2009, and this is partly due to the financial crisis, Los Angeles only had 1 VC-backed exit. Today, Los Angeles is considered to be the 3rd ranking startup in the world, startup city in the world, and I believe we played a very small part in that. Also in India, for example, we more recently did our first VC investment. Fast forward a few years, things are starting to pick up a lot of steam over there. We witnessed India go from barely any tech entrepreneurs and investors to today, where we get introduced to about 30 companies a day, and we still have to compete. Why am I telling you all of this? I am telling you this because I believe that in order to start an ecosystem, you need to be patient, you need to be optimistic, and you need to be persistent. For startups, you need to be thinking of a 10 to 12 years trajectory, maybe more so in Lebanon. If you are not, then you are doing it wrong. And to do that, you need to be very patient. Any entrepreneur that knows what he's talking about will tell you that a startup equals sweat, blood, and tears. Investors need to be even more patient. Patient capital, thinking along the lines of the same trajectory, if not more. If anyone is dreaming of an overnight success in Lebanon, they are dreaming. Optimism. You cannot build an ecosystem if you are not optimistic about a country's prospects. And I know it might be difficult to be optimistic in a country like Lebanon, but not impossible. Look at all of you here. You must be very optimistic about Lebanon, as I am. You cannot build or be a part of a great company if you always threaten the country of leaving. You cannot build or be a part of a great company if you do not believe your kids will grow up here. Yes, we have a lot of problems, probably more so than any other country in the world. But still, I strongly believe that we can be very optimistic about Lebanon's youth and their prospects in the country. Persistence. We will see many failures. We ourselves have had many failures. But if there is anything we value in entrepreneurs, it is persistence. You need to be persistent. It takes courage to be an entrepreneur, especially in Lebanon. And you need to accept the very real possibility that you might fail. You need to be okay with that. Our society is slowly becoming okay with that. You shouldn't care about what other people think anyway. At least you've tried. It is better to fail than to sit on the sidelines, criticize, and know neither victory nor defeat. Thomas Edison has a great quote on this when he was trying to invent the light bulb and hadn't succeeded yet. He said, "I have not failed, I have only found 10,000 ways that won't work." The leaders of a startup community must be the entrepreneurs. You guys, the entrepreneurs, are the leaders of the startup community. Everyone else here, including myself, are the feeders. Whether it is universities, government, investors, mentors, or service providers, we are feeders. It is you, the entrepreneurs, that must have a long-term commitment to this community. You need to create a context in which other entrepreneurs are motivated. You need to be inclusive of anyone who wants to engage. You need to encourage and help other entrepreneurs without necessarily fully understanding what you will get in return. We, as Daher Capital, would love to be involved. In fact, we will be involved. We have decided to open offices aimed at the Lebanese ecosystem and allocate time and resources in the Lebanese market. We have a major network through both the entrepreneurs we have invested in as well as the venture capital funds we have invested in that we intend to leverage, and we intend to leverage this network to help Lebanese entrepreneurs specifically. The companies we have invested in over the years have built a lot of technology that I believe can help a lot of companies get created here in Lebanon. And this is something that we plan to do. We would also like to start at the low end of the market. People planning to revolutionize or disrupt existing Lebanese businesses with the use of technology. We have seen many companies where we ask ourselves, is this a tech company? I'll give you an example. In India, we recently invested in a company that started off as a software company that wanted to deliver software to restaurants to help them better manage their deliveries and their internal processes. When they had trouble selling the restaurants just wouldn't buy it. They started their own kitchen and used their own software and started delivering food, becoming vertically integrated. Today, the company has more than 100 kitchens in India and is incredibly successful. The question to be asked here, is this a food company with some technology, or is this a tech company that delivers food? I am very sure we will start seeing questions like this being asked in Lebanon going forward. These are the types of companies we would like to meet. Those companies can be high growth and reach cash flow break even and even become profitable using Lebanon as their sole market. Once they do that, they can expand. We have a booth here today and tomorrow, and would like to invite, in fact, urge all the entrepreneurs here to come see us. I want to end by saying a few words about Lebanon, and I'm going to make a very geeky analogy. Lebanon is like the planet Krypton, Superman's home planet. On it, Superman has no powers. He is just another man. And whenever Superman leaves that planet and comes, for example, to Earth, he gets his superpowers, and that's when he does really, really well. Today, such are the people of Lebanon. I hope that with the help of Circular 331 and all the other initiatives taking place here today, we can get the Lebanese people to use their superpowers and bring the magic back to Lebanon. There is a lot of potential here, and hopefully BDL Accelerate sets the context for that potential to be realized. Thank you.